Welcome everybody into our final session for the day, and I'm excited. Can I tell you, I embarrassingly went completely fangirl on our last presenter, and he has been an inspiration for me, and I know for many others that is just doing what he does. So I had to bring it back a little. So I'm going to introduce him, and then he and I are going to have a chat. But please chime in so that you can draw from him and learn from him. So I'm going to do the introduction of our final speaker. Zachary Harding is an executive chairman and co-founder of Delta Capital Partners and chief executive officer of the Stocks and Securities Limited Group here in Kingston. He was named one of the top 50 under 50 business leaders shaping Jamaica's future in 2012. He has been dubbed a rainmaker, a marketing guru based on several groundbreaking campaigns and brand turnovers. His innovative mind and strategic acumen has led him to be selected as a special advisor to the Ministry of Tourism and deputy director at the Jamaica Tourist Board. He also serves his country as a justice of peace. Can I tell you, I feel so proud to be in that group of JPs as well. So serving our country. So I welcome Mr. Zachary Harding.
It's a pleasure
Good
to be here.
afternoon.
Afternoon, it's a pleasure to be here, Roxine.
I'm trying to hold it together. Forgive me.
Let it go.
So we're just gonna have a talk, and then when people chime in, then we'll incorporate them. So we're going to be talking about the male perspective, as you said, on the need for empowered women within corporations, businesses, and families. So let's kick it off. What do you think is the most important thing that men and women need to understand about each other in the workplace environment?
Most important thing for me is for people to understand that men and women complement each other in the workplace. Right? It's not a competition. Just like in life, and I'm not going to get too deep into an alternative discussion, but just like in life, there's a reason why you have a male and female partnership, and why studies over and over show that children raised in a home with a male and female figure tend to be more balanced and have a better understanding and appreciation of both genders and how they interact with each other. So one of the mistakes I think that people make is to think that it's kind of like one or the other, and it's not. I could not work with a team of all women, nor could I work with a team of all men, because they both have different strengths and different skill sets that they bring to the table. We're psychologically different, and we shouldn't be divisive. If we try to understand each other's perspective, then we enrich the conversation and we have a much stronger, much better about competing. And we want to get a team with a good balance of men and women. So I have structured my teams at various places that I've worked with very deliberately, because men tend to be better at certain things and women tend to be much better at probably more things, right? But there's a balance that is required.
But there's a balance that is required, but why is it that there seems to be the challenge for them to work together?
It's like a challenge us in life, It's men and women are often just finding themselves competing. Just, even just same genders are finding themselves competing. We're here for a limited time. So, we're all relatively young on this call in this session. If we're lucky, we have another, 30, 20, 10 years left, 40 years left. So it's about the quality of the time that we spend. And so we get fixated on competing because we're programmed in a way from even our education system that it's about winning. It's about coming first in your class. It's about coming first in your race at sports day, being on the podium, getting a medal, topping your grades in CXC or CSEC or Common Entrance or whatever you want to call it, CAPE. So we're programmed that way, and we get into a work environment And then instead of saying, okay, I'm now in a team setting, I'm not in a solo setting. The idea is actually to collaborate with each other and to try and win, if you will, but as a team, that gets lost. So people are competing within the same team to try and get rank and get priority. And that creates a lot of problems.
So we talk about respect and dominance.
Mm.
What has been your experience in terms of respect as opposed to dominance? Because I think there may be a bit of confusion for some people.
Yes, there's definitely confusion. For me, respecting each other means valuing each other, right? So I'll give an example. Janelle Brown, who's a chief of staff in the office of the executive chairman, my office, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing without her because she is my support structure. She's my guide, my mentor, my guru, my spiritual advisor, my, calms me down, organizes things. I'm not necessarily, a very organized person, certainly in terms of time management, etc. Those are things that I've struggled with my whole life. So she creates this perfect balance to get me doing what it is that I need to do. And most people would think like, oh, you have an assistant named Janelle. And so she helps you with, assisting you to get things done. And I'm seeing it the opposite way. It's like, no, I actually have a manager. Right? So if you were to think of me like then as like the artist, Janelle would be the artist manager. And her role is to ensure that I thrive and I'm the best version of myself. But that includes sometimes her being my boss. But I, as a man, have no problem with that. And I have no problem with respecting that. And I value that she's much better at certain things than I am. Right? And so it's not about dominance. Yeah, I could just give her instructions all day long. Oh, do this, do that, set this up, that up. But that's not how we operate. We operate in a value-based structure where she values me. She wants me to thrive and succeed. And it's reciprocal. And that just works best. So there's no need for, what's the purpose of dominance? Why do I need to be dominant in that setup? I don't need to be dominant. I need to have a partner that is going to help me to be the best version of myself and vice versa.
So we look at couples who we would say value each other.
Absolutely. So, I've been married 25 years. My daughters are 24 and 21. Right? I grew up in a household with a very strong mother who's still around and who still is in contact with me every day. And still, we collaborate on family matters and try to plan and structure certain things. So I know there's this talk about men feeling, uncomfortable around strong women. And so they want to exert themselves to make sure they're dominant. It's true. There's no question about that. It happens all the time. But for me, it's just such wasted energy. I don't need to dominate my mother to have a good working relationship with. I don't need to dominate Janelle in any way, shape, or form. It's about teamwork. And same way it is at home with my wife, Tamara. So I'm 47 years old, right? We've been married 25 years now, going on 26 years. We got married from 21. A lot of people are like, oh, that's ridiculous. Like, why would you even have gotten married so young?
Right.
But I wouldn't have been able to be where I am now, which to me is nowhere. I mean, one of my weaknesses is that I kind of see myself as an underachiever because there's so much more that I want to do and to contribute. But even the little that some would say that I've achieved so far, it wouldn't have been possible without Tamar, because she is my rock and my support and my strength. She whips me into shape. She's like, no, you're not. You can do better than that.
Right.
Don't sell yourself short. You know what? That job is not for you. You need to leave. And so it's that balance and that support structure that makes both of us thrive. And, if you spoke to her, I hope she would say the same thing about me supporting her.
And of course, the level of trust, if we use, like, say, for example, the Obamas, who are both strong in their own right.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just a brilliant example, right? Because how do you be the first lady of the most powerful man in the world? But then in many regards, you're the boss. And people rate you over him in some ways. You have to be
Exactly.
strong in your own right. And then he supports her and wants her to be the best version of herself.
Exactly. So support is very important in a team, a partnership,
Absolutely.
and trust,
Yeah,
because you trust what the advice you would get from your wife in terms of the support, and you take that along with whatever information to make a decision of whatever you want to move forward with or continue to do within your pursuit.
exactly. And it's that supportive spirit. Right? So I mean, I'll give you another example. In football, I play a lot of team sports. I've played a lot of team sports throughout my life: cricket, football, rugby, etc. I've captained many teams that I've on. I can tell you with certainty, I've never been the best player on the team. I've never been the most talented player on the team, right? I've never been a standout in terms of like athleticism, like a naturally gifted athlete. However, my leadership has always been what has gotten me to become captain because I understand people and I can bring people together to work in a team environment. We played football this morning, 6 o'clock. We ended up losing today, right? But
Oh,
one of the youngsters that I kind of mentors talking to him and explaining to him that when you have the ball and you're doing crossover and step overs and keeping the ball and cutting back and turning back, everybody else on on your team just stands up because they don't know what to do, because they don't know what you're doing next. As opposed
right.
to if you're interacting, if you're making the passes, you're making the runs, you're saying, you know what, Nick, go forward, push through the middle and send the ball through to him because you want to work in a team to get him to score. There's as much glory in giving the assist as there is in finishing the actual goal.
Okay. So let's now look at education. They're saying that women in Jamaica are more educated, more qualified, and ultimately make up a larger form of the workforce. And a lot of people would ask, where does that leave men? What are your thoughts on that?
Men have definitely marginalized themselves over the last several decades by being focused on the wrong things. And some of that is, well, not some, it's really all cultural, to be honest with you. Because in other cultures, you still have men in dominant roles and you still have men leading in a lot of areas. In Jamaica, it's the reverse. In a corporate setting, the majority of leaders, many of them are women. If you look at CEOs of companies, a lot of them now are women. Even as, managerial level, a lot of them are women. Supervisors, a lot of them are women. Why? Because men have been taught that to be successful, you must be a gallus, right? So you must have the most woman, try get the nicest car with the fattest rims and the biggest set.
Right.
And, when you're out the road, you have to floss, you have to buy Hennessy and, splurge and buy liquor for everybody. And just like preoccupied with the wrong things. You have to shout, you have to talk the loudest. If you're in a room, you have to be attention at all. And some of it may come out of our, garrison style politics, because it's really the loudest, the biggest, the baddest, especially in our gang culture, that survives. It's a bit of a survival mechanism. But yet in a home setting, it's often the mother that is running the household. So that just continues as time passes. So the little girl in the household, yes, she might be the one doing some of the household chores, but she's learned that her mom is really the boss and she's really the one that runs things. And you hear
Right.
them often crediting, it was my mother that I emulated to get to this point.
Yeah. So when we look at soft skills, do you think that men are at a disadvantage because they really aren't taught the soft skills? As you say, we're all about loud and being there. What are your thoughts on that?
Definitely at a disadvantage. Definitely not taught the soft skills, but more important to me, definitely haven't been seeking to find and to learn and to develop the soft skills. Because one thing to not be taught, but it's another thing to be like, all right, you know what? I realize that this is an area of development for me. Therefore, let me go and read. Let me go, and if you don't even like reading, I'm not much of a reader. Let me go watch some videos on YouTube, understand about things like my favorite topic, emotional intelligence. Right? Boys are not taught to understand or express emotion. If you're a boy and you're crying, you're soft.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Exactly.
Stop it damn crying, man. You're like a
Only a
girl.
girl.
You're going on like a girl.
Exactly.
Like that's like an insult. Right? But men as well as women, we're all emotional beings. We're all born differently. We all express and understand emotions differently. But yes, you're right. We haven't been taught as men to be able to digest and interpret emotional cues in the same way perhaps that women do. Or maybe it's more natural for a woman, perhaps because of maternal instincts. But if it is that men have not been socialized that way, then we need to recognize it, and we need to start saying to our boys and our men, listen, shape up, right? You're excluding yourself from opportunities because you're just focusing on some of the wrong things. The idea and the concept that you have of what it means to be a man is misguided,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I remember very clearly, as in third form, going to school, chatting with my dad, thought I was pretty big at 13. And I remember clearly asking him, I said, Dad, well, at the time, Dad, what does it mean? What does it mean to be a man? Because I'm thinking in my mind, I'm trying to pre, I'm like, is it when I grow a mustache? Is it when I brought my ducks to get my first girlfriend? Is it when I can drink liquor? Is it when I get my, my driver's license? Is it when I move out of the house? When I go to college? When I get my first job? Like, what does it mean? Like, is it that, the amount of girls that I have? And I'm trying to understand it. And my dad was a gift of simplifying things, although that ended up being quite annoying for part of my life. He just simply looked and said, well, son, being a man means two things. Firstly, it means knowing what your responsibilities are. And secondly, it means taking care of them.
Mm-hmm. Good. Say that
That was it.
again. Say
There was
that
just
again.
dead silence in the car. Being a
Yeah.
man, which also means being a man or a woman, like being an adult, basically a responsible adult, means knowing what your responsibilities are
Mm-hmm.
and taking care of them. That's it. Just apply that to anything. Apply that to school, apply that to work, apply it to domestic setting. And a lot of men, one, don't recognize and know what their responsibilities are, and secondly, don't take care of them. For example, a part, in my opinion at least, a part of my responsibility as a husband is to care for, support, protect, and serve my wife.
Mm.
Right? As the woman, she needs to feel comforted and she needs to feel safe. What does safety mean? Safety means she can trust me. I will be there for her. I will show up in the time of need. And showing up may just mean to listen.
Yeah.
Not to counsel, not to critique, not to advise, not to correct. Just simply to be there, to just hear and just allow her to express herself and to just get it out. But many men wouldn't see that as a responsibility and therefore wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. Chatting in my ears, man. I don't know. Just go sort it out yourself. I don't in the business with that right now. Too much pressure on my head for me to listen to your problems. Really? Should I find somebody else to listen to her problems real fast?
I think, yeah. And I think you said a man is as powerful as he chooses to be.
Yes, in the sense that your power really comes from within. It's not external, right? So you can be, a quiet monk in a monastery and be exceptionally powerful. Mm-hmm. Gandhi was exceptionally powerful. Nelson Mandela was exceptionally powerful. Mandela was imprisoned for like 27 years or whatever it is, yet one of the most powerful men on the earth, like in history. His power came from within. He didn't accept being, put down. And so you can choose to say, you know what? I'm going to be an influential, powerful individual. What are the responsibilities that come with that? And then work along those lines. It's not something that is given to you. It's something that is earned.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Definitely. So you have to work, they have to work on themselves to
Right.
develop themselves.
Absolutely, you have to develop yourself, and that is where I think a lot of women excel
Hmm.
because they'll take the time, they'll go, they'll do the course. If they can't physically go, they'll find something online. They'll read a book. They'll talk to their girlfriends. They'll say, you know what I really want to do? I really want to understand a little bit more about this topic. I found
Hmm.
this thing, we could go and we could do it together. Man, not doing that, man, some of the same foolishness that I said before. How much girl out the road them can find and
Yeah.
how much them can spend and how much money pull up them can give to be on Instagram. I mean, women are doing a lot of foolishness too, but just generally speaking, especially in that kind of like corporate environment, I think there's an opportunity for men to be better leaders, which doesn't mean being better dominant people, but being better supporters of their teams.
Good stuff. So let's look at being a good investment. I think you said women tend to be a good investment because as employers, they look at your full skill set. Can you expound on that?
Sure. So if I'm gonna make a choice between a man and a woman for a job, I mean I'm gonna look at their abilities and capabilities first of all.
Right.
What I've found is I've found more women that I work with have ended up being good selections in the roles that they've been placed. And I've found that they have stepped up to the plate, risen to the occasion, as Sizzler would say, and been able to be promoted to the next level of responsibility. And many times I've found that men have been challenged in that area. So they're given something to do and they do it okay, but then they fall short on the next steps that it would take to level up. So that's why I kind of say, I think women are a better investment because return that you get, so to speak, tends to be more consistent in terms of you put them in a role, you give them a set of responsibilities, and they will rise to the occasion, know what their responsibilities are, and take care of them.
Along with those, can you name some advantages you've experienced working with women?
Well, there have been advantages, but there also have been disadvantages. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm beating up
Like
on them.
everything is perfect. Yes.
Right. Um, some of the advantages have been, for me, a better sense of reliability. If I say, Victoria, I need you to just take care of this thing for me or help me to structure this thing or put something together, I can kind of close my eyes and feel confident that it's going to get done. Whereas if I ask, Kemoy, just picking on Kemoy, you have some good questions, by the way.
Yes.
I might have to follow up and ask again and, see how I can support type of thing. So that's one of the things that I've found. Now, on the flip side of that, and this is actually very important because, again, I don't want this to come off like I'm saying men are losers and, they have no value. Men, I find, tend to be more level-headed in their approach to things because of some of the lack of emotional intelligence, so to speak, right? So in a team setting, I found that a lot of women take things somewhat, not personally, but they take them very seriously, where it may be difficult for them to disaggregate between two paths to take because they get emotionally invested in a particular direction. And I've found in many cases that men just tend to be a little bit more, laissez-faire, maybe kind of, all right, let's try it and see if it works. And if it don't work, it's not a big deal and they can go move forward. But then that's also a very personalized thing. I've had the flip side of that happen also.
Okay. So right before we go into the sets of questions which you see coming up,
Yeah.
the powerful women, because you always talk about being a powerful woman, they get a lot of flack and they get a hard time for saying that you're a powerful woman. But you tend to gravitate towards a powerful women. So can you speak to why you gravitate towards a powerful woman and why it works for you?
I had a powerful mother. I had a very powerful mother who was and still is to this day a great guide, a great advisor, a tower of strength and an inspiration. And therefore, I'm programmed to not be intimidated by a powerful woman. Because I've also seen the counterbalance where she has been able to support my father in his powerful situations. Right? So I have a wife who is brilliant and who's strong and who's assertive. I wouldn't be doing a lot of the things that I am doing now if it wasn't for her. So I respect her strength. I have two daughters that I'm trying to raise in a way so that they can know that they can be independent, they can be free thinkers. I'm not raising them to grow up to find a nice man to go marry to support them. No, not at all. Find a guy that can balance them, that can complement them, that can bring out the best versions of themselves, but they can also be independent and strong in their own right. It shouldn't be a competition. That's the main theme of what I'm trying to explain. It shouldn't be a men versus women, men or women. Everybody brings different skills to the table, and we are designed to work together in harmony. If we can just get past the insecurity of the one-upmanship or one-up-womanship, to keep it gender balanced, just made up that one. Right? But to get past that, it's not about that. We're here, we want to win, we want to do things, we want to leave a legacy, we want to leave a footprint for others. Right? We want to demonstrate how people should be able to collaborate. I mean, again, we're limited on time, but without getting into like the politics, for example, one of the most irritating and frustrating things for me about Jamaica is our politics. Because it is simply, it's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. People are just polarized for the sake of being polarized. If me and you are just on the opposite teams and you just say red and I say black, right? Then you just stick to and just hold that hard and no matter what. On a topic like education, how can you have two parties divided on an approach to education? Education of children, you can't come together and sit down and have one harmonious plan that either administration can work towards. National security, how can you be divided on a topic such as national security? It affects all of us. It doesn't make any sense. You should be able to come sit down at a table and look at the facts, get expert advice, meet as a team and make a decision and move forward. If you're in government today, fine, you carry it out and you administrate. If I'm in government, I carry it out and administrate it. But there's no reason to have polarized positions. And that applies also in men and women dynamics. There's no reason just because I'm a man to have an opposite position to you as a woman.
And I think that has been the lifelong challenge that we've all faced, because you're a man, so you're expected to be CEO, and it's like a big deal if I become a CEO now. I appreciate the women that are in the position, but I don't like to hear it just because you're a girl. Yeah. It's a big deal because you've taken on these positions. We could talk all evening. I could talk all evening too. I'm just all right. So let me take this question from Kimoy. How did you discover the importance of learning and demonstrating emotional intelligence? Did your peers connect with you to learn more about emotional intelligence? Can you speak to that?
It was an accident.
How so?
Working at Diageo, Red Stripe, in my 20s, head hot, pushing aggressively out on the road, doing my thing, doing well. I was a brand manager, I was head of marketing, I was in charge of Smirnoff Ice. At one point, I was leading an internal agency that dealt with the marketing for all of the brands: Guinness, Heineken, Red Stripe Light, Malta, Tanqueray, Johnny Walker, Baileys, etc. And so, I started as kind of like a little bit of a star, but I was having a lot of interpersonal challenges at work. I was always like at war with somebody, always arguing. Like me and Roxy just can't get along for whatever. We're just arguing about stuff all the time. And I'm socialized to be like, let me push, let me be assertive, let me be aggressive.
Right.
And we did a lot of coaching at Diageo. That's one thing about that company, right? So every week we'd have different coaching sessions. And a team came down and they did a session with us about conflict resolution in the workplace. And I was like, conflict resolution in the workplace? I don't think no conflict. I'm not fighting with nobody in the workplace in my head, right? Right, this is stupid. Anyway, went to the session and the guy did a presentation and I sat there just mouth open, just like, this is what I've been missing my whole life. I didn't understand that there was a thing called emotional intelligence. Because as children, again, we're not socialized that way. What
No,
are we
we're not.
raised on and socialized on? IQ, your intelligence quotient, right? How well you do in your grades, how many A's and B's are you getting? And to kind of summarize emotional intelligence, if I can be so bold to do it in 60 seconds, an experiment was done to try and test a group of students ages 5 to 20 years old, where they measured their IQs, they documented them, and they wanted to see how they did 20 years later in life. So they played a game, it was called a cookie game, and every hour, every student would get a cookie. You had a choice. You could either eat the cookie, but if you did that, you'd leave the room, or you could wait and get another cookie. And so as time passed, they just kept scoring and assessing. So Victoria, being the hungry belly that she is, decided that first cookie she's eaten and she's gone. You know, Sophia said, you know, let me wait a little bit. I can probably build up to like 2 or 3 hours. So she built up. And Roxine was just like, no, I'm here for the long haul. I'm going to wait it out. Right? So he waited 10 hours, built up and got 10 cookies. So they just graded and scored those, and they also measured the IQs. You know, but Roxine had the lowest IQ and Victoria had the highest IQ. Fast forward 20 years later, they wanted to see how successful everybody was. And so they asked a series of questions to measure success. You know, did you have any drug dependencies? How much money were you making? Were you in a stable relationship? Did you have a family? Were you in a stable job? Were you contributing to your community, to your society, etc.? And then they scored those things, and they found 2 very interesting correlations, which were breakthrough. This is in the 60s. The first thing is there was no correlation between those that had a high IQ and their level of success. But there was a direct correlation between those that had amassed the highest number of cookies and those that were successful. So they're like, this makes no sense. How could you predict that as a 5-year-old Roxine sitting on and building up the number of cookies would now end up being, you know, the most successful in life? And it came down to something called the ability to defer gratification. Emotional intelligence is about the ability to defer gratification. Said another way, emotional intelligence is about having the ability to better manage and control your emotions. And that is the key to life. That is what determines success in life. Those that have the ability to better manage their emotions and how they respond to things are the ones that will be more successful in life across the board.
So right after you closed your mouth and assessed what was said in that meeting about learning about emotional intelligence, your associations, your interactions got better at work. Yes.
Much better, much better. I started to understand that I was not dealing with robots. I was dealing with other human beings, right? And Victoria had things that were on her mind. I needed to understand her better as a person to be able to relate to her. And perhaps I needed to bring my most authentic self to the table, because I was pretending to act a certain way and be a certain way because I was modeling behaviors of other people and not realizing that I was actually a pretty fucking cool person to begin with. And I just needed to just be myself. And if I was just myself, people could relate to me and get along with me, and just humble myself and listen and learn and collaborate with others. I mean, Kemoy asked a really good question earlier on about the impact or influence on emotional intelligence to
Right.
gangs and criminality
Violence.
and violence. And if you think it through, if emotional intelligence is the ability for you to better manage and control your emotions, then if you had the ability to better manage and control your emotions, you'd be less prone to being violent. You'd be less prone to making bad choices. because often the bad choices are somewhat knee-jerk reactions based on certain things, or they're things that have been programmed. So I need to be the baddest youth on the block. Therefore, I need to have, 2 Glocks, and I need to have 6 baby mother, and I need to, people must fear me. Okay, cool. Well, that's what you think. That's just gonna get you in trouble. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of time. Versus somebody else that says, yo, you know what? None of that is serving me. What I need to do is just try and get a regular job and just have an income, live somewhere safe. If I need to relocate, do that. Maybe I need to go back, do a little bit more school or a little more training in something, contribute to my society in another way, be more helpful to people, be my most authentic self, so that people can see my real value. Stop pretending to be a thugs and a bad man, right? A lot of these people, they're faced with situations where police come for them, and they're all of a sudden that the biggest babies in life.
Yes.
Right? And it's a lot of pretend because it's it's a survival technique. And again, criminality and that is gangs are a whole different conversation. But all you can do is be the most authentic version of yourself, right? And make better decisions. So if you think about it, and this is what I try to teach my daughters, life, and you'll hear me talk about this, even in the TED talk that I did, this is what it was about. Life is just a series of decisions and choices. So make sure you make the best ones. Every day we get up, that's what we're doing. We're just deciding, boy, do I take this Zoom conference or not? Do I prepare a speech or not? Do I do a presentation or not? Do I wear a black shirt or a white shirt? We're just always making decisions all day long. And so the idea is to practice making better decisions over time. And what I've actually been able to come up with the help again of Janelle, is a formula for better decision making. We can save that for another session.
Yes. So awesome. Thank you so much. So better manage your emotions, ability to defer self-gratification, because I was the one that won, I'm just saying. And I'm gonna write this one definitely in my journal. Life is just a series of decisions and choices, and what we do with them. So thank you so much. Do you have another bit of pearl of wisdom to drop before you leave us? Then everybody's saying so many profound statements. Thank you so much. True words, facts. So
The only thing that I would probably add, which I have found to make a big difference in my life, two very quick things. One is everything is energy. Right? Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It's just transferred. Right? So therefore, we have some choices to make. What sort of energy do we expose ourselves to? Positive energy or negative energy, just like in a battery, for example. If you expose yourself and if you expose children to more positive energy, then they will be more positive members of the society. If they're around negativity, if they're constantly being shouted at and barked at and reprimanded and beaten and scolded and just in a negative, oppressive, harsh environment, they will grow that way and they will reflect that as they become adults. So think through your circles and think through how much positive or negative energy is around you. Women, applies to men too. Let me reverse it. Men, for whatever men are on this call, if you're in a toxic relationship with a woman who is negative and who's not bringing any value to you, leave. Many men are in abusive relationships, not necessarily physical, and some of them are, right? But many men are in psychologically and emotionally abusive relationships. But as a man, you have to tough it out and be a thugs. You can't admit that you're being emotionally abused.
Exactly.
But if that's the situation, leave. Surround yourself with a positive circle of influence. If you sit with people that talk about money and investing and starting a business and running a business, and that's what the conversation is about, you will learn from them. If you're sitting with men who are always talking about how much liquor they drank last night and which woman them fine, and then that's what your life is going to be about. So think through your circle of positivity and grow on that circle of positivity. Influence others through the influence that you get, and make sure that you're getting the right influences. And the final piece that I would leave with is don't overcomplicate life. Don't overcomplicate life. Many people, perhaps, God forbid, some on this call today, may not make it through to see tomorrow. From your breathing, you have everything to be grateful for.
Amen.
From you can take that next breath, you are alive and there's hope and the world is there for you to conquer. Because some people won't be able to take that breath the next day. So a taxi man cut you off on the road or whatever. Just let it go. It's not worth it. It's not worth the emotional stress and strain, because you're gonna get yourself worked up. That's bringing a lot of negative energy into your space. You're gonna go home. You're gonna put the plate in the microwave, take it out. You're gonna drop and broke from you. You're gonna cuss somebody. So there's just gonna be a trail of negativity that follows you, because that's what you're attracting into your life.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a positive spirit and a positive ball of energy, you will naturally attract more positivity into your life. So breathe in positive energy and exhale negativity.
Oh, love it, love it, love it. I hear that you have a book. You've been keeping secrets, Sir Zachary. Please tell us about that.
Yes. So I was very fortunate to have been invited by a woman to write and be a co-author of a book written by 7 other men, and it's called The Sacred Masculine Rising. It's on Amazon. You can just Google it, just type in The Sacred Masculine Rising. You can type in my name as one of the authors too. And I would love for everybody to go out and buy it, give it to somebody for a Christmas present. But it's
Definitely.
basically 8 men who have kind of chronicled their journey through life and their ups and downs. And it's totally randomly different perspectives of men from all over the world. Right? So it's not just like the same thing that we're repeating over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And there's lessons in all of them. And really importantly, I'd really encourage the woman to buy the book and read it, because you're going to learn things in there that you may not have thought of before in terms of
Mm-hmm.
how men think. And everybody knows of the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
From
It's a real
Venus,
thing.
yeah.
We
We've
think
already.
differently, we act differently. And part of the mistakes that we both make is that we try to judge each other from our own perspective. I can't be trying to assess Victoria and understand her from my perspective. I'm a man. My makeup is different. I've learned different. I've been socialized different. I grew up in a different place. We're all different. So the chore is to try and figure out what other people are like and what they have gone through. So it's a good, tapestry, if you will, of different experiences. It's the first book that I've been a co-author in, and we have some other books planned. So stay tuned for more, especially
Okay.
on the decision-making model that we've come up with.
Well, I'm going to get it tonight. I am going to order it. And I'm not just saying it because I'm here. You know this. So I'm gonna read it. And let me please allow me to use this opportunity to congratulate you on being the first to speak on the TEDx. I'm proud of you. I'm artful. I have to say it that way. So you
Thank
understand.
you very
So
much.
um, awesome sauce. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us from the men's perspective. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure everybody is. One of my former bosses, Ruth Lynn Johnson, says, "Awesome talk, a great way to end the fulfilling 2 days. So real, so simple, so true. Thank you, much appreciated." Nicole says her pores are rising. Kemoy say, "I will check it out." So thank you so much,
An
Zach.
absolute honor to be here. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, and I really want to just wish everybody a safe Christmas and just lead your life more from the heart and with love. If we express love more often and we express appreciation and gratitude more often, you will actually feel better about yourself, and life will actually be better, and you'll attract more positive things into your life. So the word is love.
Love. So said, so done. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having
All
me.
right. All right. So it is time to give away stuff. But before we do, we have an announcement to make. The NCU, the Northern Caribbean University, they have an award, and this award is for, I'm sorry, forgive me, I'm trying to make sure I give you all the information on it. And this award is given to persons who are integral in doing stuff for Jamaica. And the winner, I want to make sure that I have the right winner. Is this the right winner? Um, that's the right winner. Okay. So the recipient of the NCU scholarship is a young lady who is results oriented. She has created great partnerships with persons and excels at building and maintaining high performance teams. And I'm just trying to find the rest about her because she's very, very interesting. And I'm sorry. Okay, right. She did her studies at the University of the West Indies. She has a Master's of Arts in Leadership and Technical Vocation. She has a Bachelor's of Education, TVET degree. She has business Administration and Management and a Certificate of Supervisory Management and Public Speaking. So congratulations to Dana. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Ennis. So she is the recipient of the NCU scholarship. And okay, I have it right here. So this NCU it's a short professional development course, and the terms are, she has until next year to take it on, February 2022. The courses are in small business, sales and marketing, digital marketing, customer relations, business communication and writing, and supervisory management. And they are just waiting for her to get in. The value of this grant is within 15,000 to 25,000, and she is the winner. So we look forward to great things to hear from her. We have one more winner. We have one more winner. They're just giving me everything. So we have another winner of the JBDC award. So JBDC awardee. I'm sorry, I seem to have lost that one. Hold on. Bear with me. There's a lot going on the computer. So this winner is Alicia Ann Carpo Roxburgh. She is a former Miss St. Catherine Festival Queen and a youth advisor to the former mayor of Portmore, George Lee. She became the youngest certified grooming coach at the prestigious Barbizon Academy located in Toronto, Canada, and started competing in performing arts competitions in Los Angeles. She's been a television host. She's never stopped doing what she's doing. She's the founder of the Toronto Urban Business Expo. And during the pandemic, when things came to a halt and she is a single mother, she decided that she needed to do her own business. So we just congratulate these two persons who have done so well. So it is time to give away some more stuff to you, our attendees, for being here. So I have a dinner for two from Round Hill Hotel. So I don't know if anybody wants it. If you don't want it, just let me know, because I will go and just, Oh, there's a link for Zachary Harding in the chat. There's a link for the book. So Zachary, don't send it to me. I'm so hurt. Anywho, so we have dinner at the Seaside Terrace. So to answer the questions, which you're going to now drop in the chat. Which question? Anita, not so hard, easy question. All right. I'm going to give you this question, and this question will give you a dinner at the Round Hill Hotel. Tell me quickly, what star-studded blockbuster movie filmed at Round Hill featuring, listening, Whoopi Goldberg, Angela Bassett, and TEDx. That one is so easy. I just gave that away. So the first person to answer that correctly, and I know Victoria and everybody is watching the chat, just in case I miss it, you will win for yourself dinner for two at the Seaside Terrace of Round Hill. Who is that? Yannick? Yannick, write it down. So congrats to Yannick. Stella got her groove back. Congratulations to you. You win for yourself dinner for two at the Seaside Terrace at the beautiful Round Hill. What else you have for me? Do you have anything else for me? I know she has stuff. She has stuff for me. All right. Tell me, are you giving me the caps? We're waiting on Sophia before we wrap up this lovely day. So we have a book, this beautiful book, Jamaican Women. Can you see? Jamaican Women of Distinction, holding up more than half the sky. And this beautiful book has all different women's right across the length and breadth of Jamaica that have done different things. Marcia Griffiths, Thalia Lynn, Faye Ellington, Althea Lang, Marjorie Wiley, so many of our women. And it's beautifully, beautifully illustrated. So the question is, what is the theme of She Thrives Women Empowerment? The first person to tell me that wins this book. I'm just making it so easy for you. I'm just saying. Tell me what the theme is for this year's conference, and you win for yourself this beautiful book, courtesy of the R.G. Arglina Communications Group. I have mine. It's a beautiful book, and it's beautifully illustrated. And you have the bios on the ladies that are in the book. Can you see? Nobody knows? So I get a second book to take home? Awesome sauce. Is that correct, Sophia? That's not the theme. Sophia's trying to be nice. It's not the theme, but Sophia, you're gonna give it.
Yes.
Okay, Sophia's gonna give it to Saliha Budal. I do hope I pronounced your name correctly. So you win for yourself a book. Is there anything else? Okay, so we have three caps. Three caps, three winners. So easy. Let's see. What am I gonna give you? So you're gonna win this. And I don't get no cap, you know. Yeah, man, load up Sophia. I don't get a cap, you know. And she knows that all I do is wear caps. But anyway, you know, I'll never do this again because she's like, I'm not bringing you back. You give too much trouble. So you have a question for me, Sophia? So
What's the name?
What is the name of the entertainer who opened the conference, and she's gonna be closing the conference? Can you tell us her name? Do you remember her name? And she's so awesome. Her voice is so awesome. So if you can tell me her name, you win for yourself a cap. The second question, I'm waiting on the first answer. Can you remember the moderator for the panelists who did Shattering the Glass Ceilings? Can you remember her name? If you can tell me her name, you win the second cap. So the first cap is who is the entertainer who opened and is gonna close today's conference. The second one, can you tell me the name of the moderator yesterday who did Shattering the Glass Ceilings? And we have one more. Which one? Kemoy, which, you know, Kemoy has been very active. No, she's from Trinidad. You're going to give it to Kemoy? We're being nice?
Yes, how can tell them it starts with a C.
It starts with a C. The director of Kingston Creative. Huh. Kemoy is just answering, just trying to get one right, don't it? I'm not. Sophia is dealing with this. So Sophia, you need to tell me which one you're giving to Kemoy. So, all right. So Violet got it right. So Violet wins the first cap. So the second cap is for what's the name of the moderator for yesterday's Shattering the Glass Ceilings? Everybody knows her name. She was right there. So tell me her name. And what was the other question, Sophia?
For the last question.
The last
What's
question.
the name of the company that hosts the She Thrive?
Yeah, what's the name of the company that hosts the She Thrives event? Just go on the website. Who said that? Who said Nadine first was gay? Gaynell came up first.
Okay.
Nadine McLeod, yes.
All right. So
Oh, Sally has says give it to Kemoy. Oh, how nice. And then Ruth Lynn wins the second cap. That's my boss, so you're not going to get it. I'm going to keep it. I'm just saying. So we got 3 winners
all right.
for the 3 caps.
All right. So Violet wins 1 cap.
Violet wins 1, Gaynell, and
Ruth Lynn
Kemoy. Are you not
Oh.
giving one to Kemoy?
and Kemoy.
I'm saying.
Kemoy.
I know, Kemoy, isn't that so sweet? So,
All right.
so we're good.
So we're giving out 4 caps then.
Oh, she has. So we're all good now. So we are coming to the end. We're wrapping up. And of course, I have to say thank you to everyone. Learned so much in the past 2 days. And just as yesterday, there are things that I will write in my journal, thanks to Imani learning to write. I have them, but I have not been writing. So the journey is a reward is one of the quotes I got from today. Be yourself. Accept ourselves for who we are. Be your most authentic self. Everything is energy. And this is my newest one. Life is just a series of decisions and choices. So, gems that we've taken, and we're going to move forward in life and just love and just live and just enjoy. Because as Zachary said, you took a breath, we have an opportunity to make today a great day. So thanks again, day 2 for everybody. Paula Kerr, Jared Wegman, and Danny Wegman, Naomi Garrick, Valerie Vieira, Kira Walters, Kalila Reynolds, Dr. Curdell, Espinoza Campbell, Shanique Francis, and Yakima Sewell, Latoya Manat Hall, and Zachary Harding. Thank you all so much for all that you've shared with us. Everyone who's spoken in the past 2 days, as long as you are breathing, you are already winning. Amen to that. And also definitely to our conference director, because without Sophia, she says she's tired. She said, Roxy, me tired, make her sleep. Sorry, let's pull it back. So thanks to her, thanks to the team, Victoria Allen and Cliff Allen, and of course to you, our attendees. Without you, this would not be possible. Special thanks also to our sponsors, our platinum sponsors, Pro Events Jamaica, L'Oreal, The Beauty Spot, AC Hotels, Marriott, our gold sponsors, NCB Insurance, Television Jamaica, Radio Jamaica, Silva, Sagicor Bank, and the Gleaner Company Limited, and our bronze sponsors, JBDC, Jamaica Business Development Corporation, Northern Caribbean University, UCC Distance Education, Carlong Publishers Caribbean Limited, and remember that part proceeds go towards Her Flow Foundation. This has been an incredible 2 days for me, and I know for you and everyone who's been here. I know it will be up for some time. Persons are asking, yes, and you will get your emails to such. And of course, look out for your emails. We are going to be sending a survey because, of course, we need your feedback as to how we can make it better, what you want. Because I said it to Sophia, she's like, I don't know about next year. I said, we're going to speak it into being in whatever form it's going to be. So we're going to see you in 2022. So look out for those surveys. Give us your honest feedback so we can know how best to improve and what to add and any suggestions that you have. So on behalf of everyone, I'm Roxy Nichols saying this has been such an incredible 2 days for me. You all take care. Have an incredible holiday. Be safe. Look out for each other. And as I always say, walk good.
has been an enormous gift and pleasure to be the one to open and close She Thrives Women's Conference 2021. I am gonna leave you with this amazing song to let you know you are strong, strong like titanium. Go get your dreams, don't let no one stop you. Let's go. Shout it loud, but I can't hear a word you say. Talking loud, not saying much. I'm criticized, but all your bullets are ricochet. Shoot me down, but I get up. I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away, fire away. Ricochet, you take your aim. Fire away, fire away. Shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. Shoot me down, are you ready? She thrives. Put your hands up, come on, come on. Say, I am titanium. Hey, hey. Shoot me down, but it's you who'll have further to fall. Goes down and haunted love. Say that one more time. Raise your voice. Sticks and stones may break my bones. Shoot me down, but I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it. I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away, fire away. Ricochet, you take your aim. Fire away, fire away. Shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. Shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. Sing with me. Oh yeah, oh yeah, hey, yeah. Break it down, break it down. Stone heart, machine gun.